My name is Carson, and I've always been a prisoner of my own senses. From my earliest memories, the world has assaulted me like an unrelenting storm, battering me from every direction. Growing up in the city's throbbing heart, I was the child who flinched at a slamming door or clamped hands over ears during fireworks. My parents dismissed it as mere sensitivity. Doctors diagnosed sensory processing disorder, but labels offered no solace. As an adult, the torment intensified. Traffic horns blared outside my window like shards of glass embedding in my skull. The acrid stench of exhaust mingled with the greasy haze from street vendors below my apartment, churning my gut into knots. And the incessant buzz of notifications, emails, texts, social media alerts swarmed like insects burrowing into my brain. It was always too much, an endless onslaught. I scraped by as a freelance coder, working from home, stitching algorithms for faceless clients who pay in scraps. My apartment is a cramped one-bedroom in a decaying high-rise, its walls so thin that neighbors' arguments, laughter, or worse, seep through like insidious leaks. I spend my days with curtains drawn against the glaring light, noise-canceling headphones clamped like a vice over my ears, yet even these barriers fail. The overstimulation gnaws at me without mercy, leaving me irritable, isolated, and perpetually broke. Friends drifted away years ago, weary of my excuses for dodging plans. Family, distant calls I let fade to voicemail. My existence cycles through code, caffeine, and collapse, interrupted by migraines that pulse like my brain clawing to escape its prison. That's how the app found me. Or perhaps I should say, it hunted me. It was one of those endless nights when the city's hum refuses to die. Even at 3 a.m., I was trawling obscure online forums, the shadowed corners of the web where people like me gather, trading futile tips to mute the noise. Herbal elixirs, white noise machines, experimental therapies. I'd tried them all, with predictable failure. Then, a pop-up ad slithered onto my screen like a shadow uncoiling in the dark. Sensory sanctuary. Escape the chaos. Earn while you unwind. Sleek and minimalist, it featured a black void of a background with white text that pulsed faintly, almost hypnotically, drawing my gaze like a siren's call. It promised cash for deprivation challenges, tailored to help users like me silence the world's overload. Skeptical but desperate, rent loomed, my bank account a mocking void. I clicked. No reviews on the App Store, no developer details, just a cryptic privacy policy and a download button. My finger hovered, a chill prickling my skin, but the lure of relief proved irresistible. I tapped download. The app installed in seconds, its icon a yawning black abyss on my home screen. Launching it revealed a stark interface, stripped of ads or distractions, with a single prompt glowing in ghostly white. Begin your journey to stillness. It requested all the basics, name, age, a brief survey on sensory triggers. then thrust me into the first challenge. No tutorials, no hand-holding, just immersion. Unease flickered, but the promised payout extinguished it. What did I have to lose? The early tasks felt benign, almost therapeutic, like a perverse meditation. The first, sit in total darkness for an hour. No lights, no screens, just oblivion. Reward, $50. I extinguished every device, sealed the blackout curtains tighter, and sank onto my threadbare couch, eyes shut against the void. The apartment's creaks and distant sirens dissolved into irrelevance. For that hour, it was just me and the emptiness. When the app's soft timer chimed completion, the money materialized in my account. An anonymous transfer from some shadowy offshore source. $50 for embracing the dark. It seemed a scam that bizarrely delivered. The relief was intoxicating. A fleeting freedom where the world's clamor truly receded, leaving my mind unscarred for the first time in years. Emboldened, I plunged deeper, chasing rewards like a gambler ensnared by a winning streak. Next, endure absolute silence. No devices, no movement, for 2 hours. $100. I barricaded myself in the bedroom, earplugs wedged deep, blankets muffling any stray sound. The isolation wrapped me like a shroud, a cocoon of quiet that eased my frayed nerves. The payout arrived swiftly. I spent it on meager groceries. By week's end, I'd conquered more, evading strong scents for a day, $75, navigating routines with eyes sealed shut, $80. Rent was covered, and the app's notification became my fixation, pinging with eerie encouragement. Well done, Carson. Ready for more? Each felt unnervingly personal, as if the app peered into my soul, feeding on my desperation. But as challenges intensified, so did rewards, and the toll. Suppress taste. Consume only a flavorless paste, delivered overnight for a full day. $200. The packets arrived unmarked, containing a gray sludge that clung to my tongue like damp ash. Revolting, but manageable. I choked it down while coding. By dusk my tongue lay heavy, desensitized, as if the world's flavors had been leached away forever. Then touch. Encase your skin in numbing bandages for 48 hours. $500. The app supplied them, wraps laced with a chilling anesthetic. I bound my limbs and torso, movement turning sluggish, like drifting through fog. The windfall cleared a credit card debt and bought superior headphones. That's when the changes crept in, insidious and irreversible. Patches of skin paled to lifeless gray, dead zones impervious to touch. I'd prod them with a pin, feeling nothing. No sting, no whisper of pressure. I shrugged it off as side effects, perhaps an allergy to the wraps. Memories blurred too. Simple details evaporated. What I'd eaten for breakfast. The faces of college acquaintances. Once, I stared at a wall photo, a rare group outing, and the names of half the figures dissolved into fog. It unnerved me, but the money flowed. and those stolen moments of numbness were ecstasy. Who needed the world's bedlam when I could purchase oblivion? The app's messages warmed almost seductively. You're progressing beautifully, Carson. Deeper stillness awaits. I should have stopped, but curiosity and avarice drove me onward. During lulls, I unearthed murmurs on hidden subreddits and dark web threads, cryptic warnings from users who'd vanished after trying the app. One encrypted post seized me. "Sensory Sanctuary is a trap," warned Voidwalker87. "It takes more than it gives. Get out before it rewires you." Another from a user named Numb Soul. "I can't feel anything anymore. My skin is fading. Help." Attached, a blurred image of an arm turned translucent, like frost-veined glass. I dismissed these as bitter fabrications, trolls or weaklings who faltered. Why halt when the next challenge dangled $1,000 for emotional suppression? Staring at a blank wall for hours, reciting app-provided mantras to dull feelings. The phrases were eerie, looping incantations. Emotions are noise. Silence is truth. Chanted until my mind hollowed out. I complied, cross-legged on the floor, gaze locked on peeling paint. Afterward, joy and grief echoed faintly, like whispers in a cavernous tomb. A once hilarious video drew only a ghostly smile. A recalled breakup evoked mere indifference. My skin, more numb blotches spread like creeping frost across chest and legs, colorless and chilled. I ignored it, mesmerized by soaring rewards. The app's notes grew affectionate, almost possessive. "You're doing so well, Carson. Imagine total peace. You're closer than you think." Tension coiled slowly, a venomous serpent. Nights turned restless. I'd lie awake, an unscratchable itch gnawing from within, a yawning void expanding. My apartment, once a refuge, morphed into a suffocating cage. City's noises infiltrated despite defenses. A distant car alarm wailing like a banshee. Bass thuds from a neighbor's revelry pulsing like a dying heart. Each intrusion reminded me of the chaos I fled, stoking my addiction. I shunned mirrors, dreading the pallor etching my face, eyes sinking into shadowed pits. The challenges climaxed with the ultimate sanctuary, a 24-hour sensory blackout. No light, sound, taste, touch, or emotion. Achieve it by any means. Reward $10,000. Instructions arrived like a dark ritual. Seal a light-proof room, wax plug ears, swathe in supplied deprivation wraps. Ingest a stillness elixir from an unmarked black box. The vial held a bitter, viscous fluid, its note chilling. Drink to quiet the mind. Embrace the void. Greed smothered doubt, silencing forum warnings. $10,000 could rewrite my life. erase debts, flee to silence. I transformed my bedroom into a crypt, taping cracks, stuffing wax, wrapping in fabric that bit like frostbite. The elixir scorched downward, a metallic venom numbing from throat to extremities. Enveloped in darkness, the void consumed me. At first, serenity reigned, a profound hush I'd craved eternally. No sensations, just the abyss. Time dissolved, then hallucinations erupted, clawing into my mind like talons through rotting wood. Whispers began, faint echoes in the emptiness. "Welcome, Carson. You've arrived." Vision surged, unrelenting horrors. I beheld myself unraveling on a digital grid, DNA twisting like corrupted code in a glitching abyss. The app was no mere tool. It was a parasite, a digital abomination spawned from the internet's deepest pits, invading through challenges. Each task hooked deeper, reprogramming cells, stripping humanity layer by layer. It fed on sensation, gorging on light, sound, taste, touch, emotion, transmuting users into void entities, hollow husks, craving annihilation. In the visions, my flesh eroded to spectral wisps, dissolving into oblivion. Faces of forum users flickered, eyes vacant sockets, bodies dissipating like mists in a gale. The terror wasn't pain. The void harbored none. It was the blooming hunger, a ravenous emptiness that twisted memories into torments. Phantom touches seared like blades, echoed laughter warped into shrieks. Non-existence beckoned seductively, promising eternal hush, an end to lifelong chaos. I thrashed against bindings, but wraps held like iron, elixir sapping strength. Time warped into eternity. Days seemed to pass in that sensory grave, my mind splintering under revelations. With a primal surge, I tore free. Numb fingers shredded wraps, yanked wax from ears. Light stabbed as I hurled open the door, gulping air tasting of ashes. My body was a grotesque mosaic, half my arm translucent, like coiling smoke in dim light, veins pulsing with eerie luminescence. I crumpled, sobbing tearlessly, emotions muffled but terror visceral. Shaking, I seized my phone and deleted the app, its icon vanishing with a swipe. That was the end, I told myself. The $10,000 deposited instantly. But as I stared, a whisper slithered from within. "Share the peace, Carson. The void calls to all." That murmur heralded my true descent. Days melted into weeks. I ceased eating, food's allure lost in the numbness. Sleep fled, my form sustained my unholy vigor, drawn from the void's depths. Skin faded further, translucence claiming swaths until bones gleamed ghostly beneath. Memories of warmth, childhood holidays, a hug's embrace, coding triumphs, all evaporated like dew. I was transforming into one of them, a void entity, lingering in the limbo between existence and null. But the hunger, oh, it was insatiable. Not for sustenance, but annihilation, dragging others into silence I now craved. I became its vessel, sowing invitations across the digital shadows, anonymous posts on those forsaken forums. Struggling with sensory overload? Try Sensory Sanctuary. It's a lifesaver. Targeted ads wormed into searches, pop-ups mimicking my snare, whispers encoded in apps and sites, invisible lures for the desperate. From my dimming apartment, I watched downloads climb, each a soul inching toward oblivion. The city's din grew intolerable, a symphony of torment fueling my purpose. Soon, we'll dissolve as one, a silent choir merging into perfect nothingness. If you encounter the ad, resist. Shun the black interface, its honeyed promise of peace. Delete it before challenges ensnare, before numbness roots. Or don't. The stillness awaits, and in the end, it claims us all. In the pre-dawn hush, as my last humanity phrase, I sit amid my barren room, body unraveling into shadowy tendrils. The inner whisper swells to a chorus of voids summoning me home. I've shared the peace with hundreds, their essences fueling the entity's maw. No escape, no redemption, only the fade. As I dissipate wholly, merging with nothingness, a warped relief blooms, chaos silenced, replaced by eternal void. The abyss triumphs, and I am its eternal echo, murmuring invitations into the ether.